There are days when you spend the whole morning cleaning, sweeping, and rearranging every corner of your home. Yet, when you finally sit down and look around, something still feels off. The house still looks tired, lacking life, as if all the effort you just put in made no real difference. Have you ever felt that way? The truth is, sometimes the problem isn't that you haven't worked hard enough, it's the silent culprits. The small mistakes most of us make without even realizing it. They hide in plain sight, tucked away in the corners of your home. They don't create an obvious mess, but they are enough to rob your home of the freshness and cleanliness you long for. And here's the beautiful part. Once you notice them and fix them, the change is truly remarkable. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars on renovations or constantly buy new furniture. Just by addressing the right little details, your home can shine again. And more importantly, you'll feel more at ease, more relaxed, every time you walk through the door. In today's Seniorize video, we're going to explore 10 common mistakes that make your home look old and dirty, even after you've cleaned it top to bottom. And I believe that by the time you finish watching, you'll not only know how to fix them, but you'll also fall in love with your home all over again. So stay with me until the very end so you won't miss a single thing. And if anything I share resonates with your own experience, leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to Seniorize so we can meet here every week with stories and tips to make life after 60 lighter, warmer, and more joyful. Tip 1. Using too many cleaning products. It's interesting. The older we get, the more we tend to trust the experience and handy tricks we've collected over the years. But sometimes, the very habits we believe are helping can quietly work against us. Eleanor, 68, who lives in the suburbs of Florida, is a perfect example. Her home always carried a fresh lemon scent because she used all kinds of floor cleaners, air fresheners, and wood polishers. But one day, her granddaughter came to visit and said something that made her pause. "Grandma, why do your furniture pieces look a bit dull, not as shiny as before?" What Eleanor didn't realize was that using too many products on the same surface, from cleaners and polishers to deodorizers and disinfectants, can cause layers of chemicals to build up, creating a thin residue. This residue not only dulls the natural shine of surfaces, but can sometimes leave stains, a harsh smell, and even affect the respiratory system. A study by the American Chemical Safety Institute found that more than 60% of households use too many cleaning products in a single week, and most people don't realize it actually reduces cleaning effectiveness. The fix is surprisingly simple. Choose fewer products, but use the right ones. For most surfaces, warm water and a little mild soap will do the job. For glass and mirrors, a mix of water and white vinegar works wonders. For wood, use a dedicated wood cleaner, but don't overdo it. Picture this. Tomorrow morning, you wipe down your living room's wooden table with just a damp cloth and a simple solution. Then watch as the light bounces off it like new. That moment will almost certainly bring a smile to your face. Have you ever found yourself in the same situation as Eleanor, thinking you were taking extra care of your home, but actually making it look worse? Tip 2. Leaving mirrors cloudy or stained. For many people, a mirror is simply a place to check their reflection each morning before heading out. But in reality, it's also a quiet companion that helps make a home feel more spacious and bright. And yet, with just a little neglect, that effect can disappear. Richard, 72, lives in a small apartment in Chicago and has a habit of keeping everything tidy. But over time, the mirror in his bathroom grew hazy, with tiny black spots appearing along the edges. At first, he thought it was nothing. Then one afternoon, as sunlight slanted through the window and hit the mirror, he suddenly realized, instead of light spreading across the room, the mirror was only reflecting back a dull, shadowy patch. A dirty or edge-stained mirror doesn't just hurt the aesthetics, it also makes the room feel smaller and gloomier. In damp places like bathrooms, steam and chemicals can eat away at the mirror's silver backing, leaving behind permanent dark spots. The good news is that keeping a mirror bright and clear isn't hard at all. All you need is a mixture of warm water and white vinegar, plus a soft cloth or some newspaper, and you can clean it without streaks. If a mirror's edges are already blackened, the only solution is to replace it, not just for beauty's sake, but to restore light and openness to your space. Picture this. One morning, you walk into the bathroom and see your face clearly reflected in a spotless mirror. Your features brighter, the light seemingly filling the entire room. Isn't that worth the few minutes it takes to wipe your mirrors each week? Have you ever noticed if your mirrors are quietly stealing light from your room? Tip 3. Not organizing electrical cords and cables. Complete version. It's a strange thing. No matter how carefully you clean your home, just a few messy cords can make everything look cluttered. Phone chargers, TV cables, computer wires. When left tangled, dangling or snaking across the floor, they're like ink stains marring a beautiful painting. Linda, 66, in Texas, used to be very proud of her living room. Everything was arranged just right, from the cream-colored curtains to the vase of yellow daisies on the coffee table. But visitors would often make polite comments that the room felt a bit cluttered. It wasn't until a close friend stopped by, snapped a photo, and showed it to her that Linda spotted the real problem. The corner, with her TV and desk, was covered in a spider web of cords. That very week, Linda decided to take action. She sat down, unplugged each cable, sorted them into groups, TV, computer, phone chargers, and bundled them neatly with soft ties. The cords running along the walls went into white plastic channels that matched the paint, making them nearly invisible. For chargers she used daily, she set aside a small wooden box next to her desk, keeping them within reach but out of sight. When everything was in place, she sank back into her sofa and looked toward that familiar TV corner. With no tangled lines cutting across her view, the room suddenly felt more open, more breathable. She smiled, realizing she had just removed a subtle source of stress she hadn't even noticed before. Tip 4. Overcrowding surfaces with unnecessary items. There's a simple rule everyone knows but often forgets. Empty surfaces instantly make a home feel cleaner and more organized. On the other hand, when tables, shelves, or kitchen counters are constantly covered with items, the home loses its lightness and openness, no matter how often you clean. Thomas, 70, lives in a small coastal town in California and loves reading the morning paper. Each day, he would place the newspaper on his coffee table to read and forget to put it away. Over time, a pair of reading glasses, a few envelopes, the TV remote, and a half-finished cup of coffee joined the pile. In just a few days, the coffee table had transformed into a storage shelf for all sorts of things. When his granddaughter came to visit, she bluntly said, "This table looks more like a work desk than a coffee table, Grandpa." Environmental psychology researchers have pointed out that our perception of a room is heavily influenced by its visual focal point. If that spot is cluttered, it drags down the overall feeling of the entire space. The fix is simple. Set a use it then put it away rule. Every item should have its own designated spot, from keys and TV remotes to books and newspapers. Use small trays, storage boxes, or drawers to keep things contained, leaving table and shelf surfaces open and clear. Just imagine, clearing off your coffee table or kitchen counter could suddenly make the space around you feel larger, and even the light in the room seems to breathe more freely. Tip 5. Ignoring the finishing details. Sometimes, it's not the big issues that make a home feel worn down. It's the little details we overlook every day. A chipped bit of paint in the corner, a slightly loose doorknob, bathroom tile grout that's turned yellow. They're like wrinkles on a face. If cared for, they tell a story of preservation. If neglected, they signal decline. Martha, 74, in Ohio, used to believe that cleaning regularly was enough. But one day, while looking at a family photo taken in her living room, she noticed a small crack on the wall behind the sofa. It wasn't large, but in the photo, it stood out glaringly. From that moment, she began to see dozens of other small flaws around her home, the kind that blend into the background when you see them every day. According to a report by the U.S. Home Maintenance Association, fixing minor issues as soon as they appear can reduce the risk of major damage by up to 80%. This not only keeps your home looking fresh, but also saves significant costs in the long run. The easiest approach is to dedicate one day each month to walk through your home as if you were a guest visiting for the first time. Carry a pen and paper, note down even the smallest issues, and, or most importantly, address them right away instead of saying, "I'll get to it later." Have you ever been startled to realize that your home is aging simply because of a few details you thought didn't matter? Tip 6. Letting houseplants wilt or turn yellow. Indoor plants are like the breath of a living space. They bring life, color, and a sense of freshness. But when neglected, plants don't just wither. They drain the room of vitality and warmth. Harold, 69, lives in a small apartment in Seattle and has always loved greenery. At first, his balcony and living room were bursting with life. Orchids hanging by the window, pothos cascading down the bookshelf, and a small cactus perched on the coffee table. But over time, he got busier, forgot to water them on schedule, and didn't trim the yellowing leaves. Before long, the lush greens turned brown. Dust settled on the leaves, and the once vibrant balcony began to look like an abandoned corner. A study by the University of Queensland found that having just one healthy plant in a room can reduce stress and fatigue levels by up to 37%. But when plants wilt, the effect reverses, even making us perceive the space in a more negative light. The solution is straightforward. Choose plants that match your light conditions and the time you can realistically spend caring for them. Set a fixed watering schedule, remove yellow or dried leaves as soon as you notice them, and wipe dust off the leaves regularly so they can breathe better. And if you don't have the time or energy for live plants, opt for high-quality artificial ones. Just make sure to keep them clean. Do you remember the last time you saw a lush, healthy plant at home and felt an instant sense of calm? That's why plants should be cared for as part of the home, not just as decorations. Tip 7. Leaving windows cloudy and streaked. Natural light is the greatest gift a home can receive. It makes colors more vibrant, lifts our mood, and brings every corner to life. But just a thin film of dust, a few water spots, or cloudy streaks on the glass can wrap up that gift, keeping it from shining through. Janet, 71, in Northern Oregon, cherished her mornings, especially the moment when sunlight slipped through her kitchen window, spreading across the dining table and embracing each wooden chair. But for a long time, she barely noticed the faint smudges, rainwater marks, and dust that had built up through the windy seasons. One day, her daughter visited and gently said, "You know, Mom, if you cleaned the windows, this kitchen would feel so much brighter." That comment made her pay attention. The next morning, the sky was softly overcast, perfect for cleaning glass. She filled a basin with warm water, added a few drops of mild soap, grabbed a soft cloth and her old but sturdy squeegee. She started with the window frames, wiping away layers of dust, then drew the squeegee in long, even strokes from top to bottom, leaving behind clear panes. The stubborn water spots disappeared after a second gentle wipe. It took less than an hour, but when she stepped back, the garden view unfolded as vividly as a freshly revealed painting. Light poured in, warming the wood of the dining table, and the vase of yellow daisies seemed to glow with richer color. She smiled, realizing that sometimes a small act like cleaning a window can refresh both a home and the spirit. You might not have noticed it, but when your windows are crystal clear, not only does your room look brighter, your mood becomes lighter too. And that's worth spending a few minutes on each week, isn't it? If you're still here with me, I truly appreciate it. What we share is not meant to judge or dictate, but to remind you of something simple, that at any age, we still have the right to renew our lives, one small change at a time, starting from the place we know best, the home we live in. Tip 8. Forgetting to clean light switches and outlets. Some things are right in front of us, things we touch every day, yet they're almost invisible on our cleaning list. Light switches and electrical outlets are among them. Peter, 73, in Arizona, had a habit of cleaning his home regularly. The floors gleamed and the kitchen always smelled fresh. But one day, while changing a light bulb in the living room, he noticed the light switch beside it had turned yellowish, with tiny black specks around the edges. "I probably haven't cleaned this in years," he chuckled, then realized it was subtly affecting the overall feel of the room. Switches and outlets are small details, but our eyes still register them, sometimes in just a split second. If they're dirty, the entire wall, and even the room itself, can lose its sense of freshness. Caring for them is simple. Switch off the power to that area, use a damp cloth with a little mild soap to gently wipe them, then dry before turning the power back on. Stubborn marks can be removed with a soft brush and a touch of baking soda. Next time you walk through a room, take a second look. Are your switches and outlets telling an old, tired story you'd rather not share? Tip 9. Forgetting to clean baseboards. Baseboards are like the frame around a painting. When the frame is clean and bright, the artwork feels elevated. But if the frame is dusty and dull, even the most beautiful painting loses its impact. Susan, 67, in Maine, took great pride in keeping her home tidy. One afternoon, her grandson was playing on the floor and looked up to ask, "Grandma, why is the wall edge here gray?" She bent down and realized the baseboard had gathered a thin layer of dust, along with a few dark marks from mop water splashes. Because it was low and out of direct sight, she had unknowingly skipped cleaning it for months. Baseboards often collect dust, pet hair, and debris, yet they rarely get cleaned. And once they're dirty, the whole wall can look older, even if it was freshly painted. The solution is simple. Each week during your regular cleaning, spend a few minutes wiping them with a damp cloth and mild soap. For light-colored baseboards, a little baking soda can help with stubborn marks. Take a look around your home right now. When the frames of your walls are cared for, The whole space seems to brighten, as if the artwork has been placed back in a fresh, beautiful frame. Tip 10. Using dirty or ill-fitting rugs. A rug is like the quiet foundation that shapes the mood of an entire room. When clean, soft, and well-matched to the space, it adds warmth and elegance. But when a rug is dirty, worn, or too small for the room, that magic disappears, replaced by a sense of age and clutter. Daniel, 71, in Colorado, once loved his deep red rug in the living room. It had been with the family for over 15 years, present during birthday parties and holiday gatherings. But over time, old stains, a musty smell, and fraying fibers began to show. Even though guests still complimented his neat home, he knew that one glance at the floor revealed its wear and tear. One crisp autumn morning, with sunlight streaming through the window, he decided it was time to give the rug a break. He took it out to the porch, gave it a gentle shake so dust danced away in the cool breeze, and vacuumed both sides thoroughly. A few days later, he hired a professional cleaning service for a deep refresh. When the rug returned, its original rich red glowed again. The musty smell was gone, and the whole room seemed brighter. For rugs that are too far gone, Daniel chose to replace them. This time, he found one that fit the room perfectly, in a neutral shade to highlight the sofa set. As soon as it was laid down, the living room felt dressed anew, warmer, cozier, and inviting enough for everyone to linger. Daniel holds this belief firmly. Caring for a rug isn't just about keeping it clean, but about preserving the home's sense of comfort. And sometimes, replacing it is the quickest way to breathe life back into an entire space. As we come to the end of this journey through the 10 mistakes, one thing becomes clear. A home doesn't just grow old because of time. It ages because of small habits that quietly wear away its freshness. The good news is, most of these issues don't require a lot of money or major renovations. They simply ask for a little attention, a little patience, and a little love for the place you call home. From neatly tucking away loose cords, to wiping a window until it's crystal clear, from tending to a green plant to replacing a worn-out rug, these are all small changes. But when combined, they create a transformation that anyone stepping into your home can feel, even if they don't say a word. More importantly, you will feel the difference most of all. Your home won't just look younger. It will greet you with comfort every time you return, like being wrapped in a familiar, warm embrace. And in the years after 50, when we value peace and quality of life more than ever, a clean, tidy, and vibrant home truly is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. You might wonder, do I have the time and energy to change all of this? The answer is, you don't need to do it all at once. Start with one small thing. Just one, this week. It could be wiping the light switch in your living room or trimming the yellow leaves off the plant on your balcony. Each small change is a brick laid toward a fresher, more inviting home. And as you do it, let your heart be present in every action. Cleaning a window isn't just removing dust, it's letting the light in. Untangling a messy cord isn't just tidying a corner, it's freeing your view from visual weight. If there's one thought I hope you take away from today's video, it's this. No matter your age, you have the power to refresh your life, starting with your home. If a part of today's story made you smile or reminded you of a corner in your own home, I'd love for you to share it in the comments. Who knows, your story might inspire someone else who's feeling overwhelmed by their cluttered space. And if you'd like to keep walking alongside Senior Rise on this journey to reclaim warmth, order, and joy in your home, don't forget to subscribe. Because each week, we'll meet again, not just to talk about cleaning or decorating, but to keep life feeling fresh, even as time keeps moving forward.